Circles and ellipses have a variety of creation methods. You'll choose methods depending on the geometric situations in which you wish to draw these objects. To begin with, let's open one of the project files. Click on the Open icon in the Quick Access toolbar and select Circles Ellipses 1. This file simply has some lines and a rectangle around which you'll draw circles and ellipses. Type C and press Enter to execute the circle command. Make sure Dynamic Input is on down here in the status bar. The default option is to specify a center point for the circle, so click some arbitrary point over here. And as I move the cursor, you'll see that the circle can be any size, and I can specify that with a value. I'll type in a radius value of 12.369 and press Enter. The command is completed and the circle is drawn. Let's do that again. Press Enter to repeat the circle command. This time let's create another circle over here, so I'll click a center point, and I'll press the down arrow key this time to use one of the options, diameter. Then I'll type in that same value, 12.369. Enter. So obviously this circle is half the size of the original, because its diameter has the same value as the original circle's radius. I'm going to zoom into these two circles by turning the mouse wheel and dragging the wheel to pan. Let's say we want to draw a third circle now in between these two existing circles. To do that, we'll use the 2-point option. I'll open this flyout menu and select 2-point. That simply enters the circle command and uses the 2P option, as you can see right here on the command line. It says specify first endpoint of circle's diameter. To do this, I'm going to use Object Snap so that we can precisely connect the circle to the other two circles. Hold down the Shift key and right-click to open the Object Snap context menu. Select Tangent from the list. Position the cursor over the larger circle and you'll see a green symbol appear which indicates tangency. The tooltip says Deferred Tangent. I'll click here, and AutoCAD isn't exactly sure where that tangent will be yet. It needs more information. That's why the tangent is deferred. Now we're asked to specify the second endpoint for the circle's diameter. So again, we'll hold down the Shift key and right-click to open this same context menu. Select Tangent again, put the cursor over the smaller circle, and click. AutoCAD then had all the information it needed to calculate where those tangents would be, and we created a third circle based on the 2 points of tangency with the existing circles. You can zoom in and see that these are precise. You should never eyeball objects or estimate where you think they should be with your eye. Instead, always use Object Snap to connect objects precisely. I'll zoom out by rolling the mouse wheel, and pan over by dragging the mouse wheel over here to these lines. Let's create a couple more circles using different methods. I'll open the circle flyout, and this time let's try Tangent, Tangent, Radius. It says specify point on object for first tangent of circle, and it automatically entered the tangent object snap for you, so you don't have to use that context menu in this case. So I'll click on this line, and then I'll click on this line. Finally, it asks me to specify the radius of the circle. I'll say 5, Enter, and the circle is created given those geometric criteria. Let's try another circle. Tangent, Tangent, Tangent. For this one, I'll click on these 3 lines, 1, 2, 3, and a circle is precisely inscribed tangent to those 3 lines. I'll pan over here, and we'll draw some ellipses. Let's open this flyout, and you can see the different ways you can create ellipses and an elliptical arc, which is a portion of an ellipse. Let's start with the first method, center. I'd like to click the center point right here, so I'll use Object Snap, hold down Shift, right-click, and this time I'll choose intersection. I'll click right here at the intersection of those two lines. It says specify endpoint of axis. This would be the major axis of the ellipse. Hold down Shift and right-click and choose Endpoint, and click on the endpoint of the line. Now you can see what's happening with this ghosted ellipse that appears dynamically as you move the cursor. It says specify distance to other axis. This would be the minor axis of the ellipse. I'll hold down Shift, right-click, and choose Endpoint, and click on this endpoint of the shorter line segment to complete the ellipse. This time let's create an ellipse inside the rectangle. To do that, use the second option, Axis and End. Specify axis endpoint of ellipse, Shift, right-click, choose Midpoint, and click right here at the midpoint of the rectangle. Specify other endpoint of axis, Shift, right-click, Midpoint, click right here, and again you can see what's happening. We're asked to specify the distance to the other axis. So Shift, right-click, and choose Midpoint. Click right here, and you've put the ellipse inside the rectangle. Finally, an elliptical arc can be constructed in this way. You specify the axis endpoint. I'll turn on ortho so I can draw that horizontally, and I'll specify the other endpoint of the axis over here someplace. Again, we're asked to specify the minor axis, so I'll click up here someplace, and then I'll turn off ortho. This will allow me to set the angle interactively. I'll specify the start angle by clicking a point. And then you can see what's happening as I move the cursor. This is the elliptical arc, and I can control how far it is, either interactively simply by clicking a point, or I could type in an angle. I'll type in 180. So we have an elliptical arc that spans 180 degrees. You have explored the various ways in which you can create circles and ellipses. If you'd like to keep a copy of your work, click the Save As button on the Quick Access toolbar, go into the My Files subfolder, and save the file as Circles Ellipses 2.